Hello, my name is Jim Lee, and I'm the minister here at Unity of Las Vegas. If you're joining us for the very first time, special welcome to you. We're a spiritual center that's steeped in love and constantly pointing to the truth that can set you free. We have a special person today, guest speaker. Her name, Dr. Charlette Manning. She's a member of the National Speakers Association. She is an international speaker, coach, and trainer. She is a dynamic speaker, but also she brings in a humorous approach as she supports people fulfilling their purpose and living their life dreams. So the title of her talk today is Finding Forgiveness and Returning to Love. Now, I and Lisa know Dr. Charlette, as she and I and Lisa were all in Detroit at the same time working with Marianne Williamson. Some of you may have watched Star Trek, and Jean-Luc Picard sometimes would turn to his person that was at his right-hand side and said, "Make it so, number one." Well, that's what Marianne used to do with Charlotte, and she was a person that made everything so. So she is a wonderful, powerful human being, and I'm so glad that she's joining us today. And she has a question for us. And it is this: what happens when we don't forgive ourselves? That's a good one. Well, as we get ready for today, we have a wonderful program with you. For a special reading is with Delores. Music is Forgiveness by Johnn Jones. Then we have Charlotte will be giving the lesson, and Don will be doing the meditation. Open up your minds, open up your hearts, and let's have a fabulous day.
Good morning. I'm Delores Stevenson. The word for today is forgive. The affirmation says that when I forgive another, I free myself. Occasionally, I may become aggravated or upset over the actions of others. My actions may lead me to say or do something that I may later regret. The words of Jesus remind me to forgive over and over again, as often as necessary. This is not to free others of their responsibility. Rather, it is to free me from carrying burdens of resentment. When I forgive, I free myself. Who I am is greater than what I've done. The same is true for all others. Remembering this keeps me from holding on to pain and allows me to be more accepting of others and even of myself. I forgive others for their actions and words, and I forgive myself for my reactions and my words. As I forgive, I am set free. The scripture comes from Matthew 18th chapter, verses 21 and 22. Peter asks, "How often should I forgive? As many as 7 times?" Jesus said to him, "Not 7 times, but I tell you 70 times 7. When I forgive another, I free myself."
Good morning, friends. Well, today's message of forgiveness is certainly a powerful lesson. It raises your vibration exponentially to be able to truly practice and accomplish this work with devotion. I am grateful to be part of this spiritual and spirit-led community of practitioners who make these lessons available with grace and love. If no one else has told you yet today, we want you to know that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the divine light of Christ in you this morning. We're looking forward to seeing you guys in person again on Sunday, June 13th. Look for an email, and you'll also be able to find more information about how that's going to happen on our website and on our Facebook page very soon. In the meantime, join us in our after-service fellowship Zoom room following the service this morning. It's easy to register if you don't already have the link. There are no expectations, just a safe spot to catch up, chat about the service, and maybe say hello to some new Unity of Las Vegas friends. I hope you enjoyed today's song. I wrote it with the help of our very own Lisa Lee's inspirational lyrics and the powerful Hawaiian Ho'oponopono, which is credited to the great Hawaiian healer practitioner, Morna Nalamaku Simeona. It's entitled Forgiveness. Namaste.
What I bear witness to in me lives in you. Like a mirror, you reflect what I should see. Connecting with each other in this physical expanse, we make it possible to consecrate, unite divinity. If I can recognize myself in your perfect imperfections, and I can manifest compassion for us both, then there are no two ways about it. We remain connected and heal each other in forgiveness. That's the truth. Every single day you're showing me the ways. I am human, somewhat flawed, and I pass sentence on myself. The clever thing about it is that you don't even know you have this fairing, and by sharing, you share it with yourself. If I can recognize myself in your perfect imperfections, and I can manifest compassion for us both, then there are no two ways about it. We remain connected and heal each other in forgiveness. That's the truth. Are you one who always struggles with forgiveness? You've just forgotten that it starts within yourself. It's all within you to shift your life force into balance and make right. This graceful gift unto yourself. If I can recognize myself in your perfect imperfections, and I can manifest compassion for us both, then there are no two ways about it. We remain connected and heal each other in forgiveness. That's the truth. If I can recognize myself in your perfect imperfections, and I can manifest compassion for us both, then there are no two ways about it. We remain connected and heal each other in forgiveness. That's the truth. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you.
Good morning, Unity of Las Vegas. This is Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning, and I am coming to you live from Washington, D.C. I am so delighted to be with you this morning, and I cannot tell you what an honor and a privilege it is for me to be speaking at your church for a couple of reasons. Number one, Reverend Jim Lee has been a longtime mentor and great friend to me. And it is because of him that I have found myself on this path so well titled as Dr. Forgiveness. I have been a student of Reverend Jim's for close to 20 years. Oh, actually, it's been a little bit more than 20 years. And I started working with him at the Church of Today, which is now Renaissance Unity, in the late 90s. Reverend Jim Lee was my first Unity minister boss. And to say the least, we have come a very long way. This is a full circle moment for me, and an honor and a privilege that I am able to come to you and speak to you this morning about the work that I am doing. I do a tremendous amount of work traveling the world. And fortunately, because of Zoom, one of the benefits of Zoom is I've been able to travel the world right from my living room. So I'm coming from you from the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm hoping that the next time I speak with you, I will be speaking to you live from your sanctuary. Because the second reason I love the Las Vegas area is my oldest son, James, lives right there in Henderson, Nevada. So I'm looking forward to the day where I can come and join and share my message of forgiveness with you and your congregation. So let me just share a quick story with you on how I even got on this path. Because, you know, when God has a purpose and a plan for your life, sometimes you don't even know how it's going to show up. If someone had told me 25 years ago that I would be a minister, that I would be teaching the power of forgiveness, that I would be doing the work that I'm doing, I would have laughed at them hysterically. And how I would even enter into the realm of forgiveness work is directly a response to some work that Reverend Jim had kind of insisted upon me. So let me share this story and how it all began. I was working at Renaissance Unity, which was the Church of Today at the time, and I worked for Marianne Williamson. I was hired to come there as a special events director and volunteer coordinator. So this was an over 3,000 member church, and I had never done any work like this before. So I came to the church really a novice. very naive about the inter workings of a church that size. And so as I was transitioning, this new administration of minister was transitioning into the work here at this church. I was working with a fellow congregant from the church, employee of the church, who was the previous of the previous administration. So I was a part of the new administration coming into the church, and there was some ambivalence and some reluctance. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know what I was doing, and she was not really willing to share very much information with me. So there was a little bit of conflict that was going on with us at the time. And Reverend Jim had come on board as the senior minister of the church, and he was the one that actually did the operations and the facilitation of how the church ran at the time. So this woman and I her name was Melanie, and she and I were having some conflict, and we were butting heads, so to speak. So this went on for a couple of months. And to be very honest with you, I think Reverend Jim had just gotten to his wits' end, and he was just not having it any longer. Now, for those of you that know Reverend Jim, you know Reverend Jim is extremely articulate. He is very mild-mannered and very soft-spoken. However, when Reverend Jim initiates something, he is deeply rooted in what it is that he wants you to do. So this particular morning, Melanie and I were called into Reverend Jim's office, and he very emphatically said to us, listen, there's an issue going on here between the two of you, and that is going to stop today. He said, now you have a choice, both of you. You can either get us together or you can tender your resignation. And on second thought, he said, no, you're not even going to resign. You will be fired from your position. He said, now you guys have to work together, and you are going to find a way to move through this ambivalence that you have towards each other, and you're going to come to terms with whatever it is that is keeping you stuck. So he said, here is what you're going to do. For the next 30 days, should you choose to accept this assignment, the two of you are going to meet in the chapel every morning, and you're going to pray together before you start your day. Oh, my goodness. That was the last thing in the world I wanted to do. I couldn't stand her. She couldn't stand me. And it was no secret in the church that there was tension among us. I wasn't giving. She wasn't receiving. She wasn't giving. I wasn't receiving. So Reverend Jim said, hey, you're going to get it together or you're going to get out of here. So we agreed reluctantly that we would begin to this healing process. We started meeting every morning at 10 minutes to 8 before our day began in the chapel, and we started to pray together. We started to acknowledge one another. We started to realize that our differences were not our differences, that it was the fear that we had of losing our relevance and our understanding. This was the first opportunity I had to experience forgiveness at a level, a deep-rooted level. Now, granted, by the end of our 30 days, we weren't the best of friends. However, we did learn some things about each other. And in so doing, I've been able to take and use this formula and to expand my opportunity to share the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key to our salvation. Forgiveness is the divine acknowledgement of our relationship to God on earth as it is in heaven. So I started writing books around forgiveness. My first book was The 4 Ingredients to Spiritual Peace, and it was about forgiveness, faith, gratitude, and love. My second book, which was my first Amazon best-selling book, was uh, Finding Forgiveness, Heart Healing Stories for the Stubborn and Hard-Headed. And nobody was better suited for that than me. But it was basically a chicken soup for the soul around forgiveness. And I did stories from other people that forgiveness stories that allow them to share with other people the power of forgiveness in their life. So today I come to you and I want to share with you my brand new Amazon #1 best-selling book, and it's called Forgive: 7 Steps to Finding Forgiveness and Returning to Love. And so I'm going to give you an abbreviated version of what these 7 principles are, because I love acronyms. And I think that once we are able to get into our brain a concept that will lead, guide, and direct us through the challenges that we have in life, we will find that forgiveness is the key to it all. Forgiveness and love are the cornerstone of our life here on earth as it is in heaven. And so forgive, F, is facing your fears. Now, Melanie and I came together for 30 days to acknowledge that it was the fear of losing our recognition within this church environment that we feared more than anything. Fear is about acknowledging those things that we cannot control. Control is a mechanism by which we are able to navigate through our anxiety, through those things that we fear the most in our lives. Facing your fears is about acknowledging that in your right mind, you are unable to find a resolution to something. So it is through your facing of the fear that you're able to move through and get to the other side of what's keeping you stuck. O is for organizing your thinking. Prayer, meditation. You know, my grandmother used to say, prayer is you talking to God. Meditation is God talking to you. So we have to learn, as we organize our thinking, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to be right or do we want to be happy? Do we want to acknowledge that these things are not as relevant or as important as we may think they are? That it is more important for us to stand in the truth of who we are and whose we are than to get caught up in the anxiety of how we're going to get through something that we either don't understand or is keeping us stuck. So when we begin to organize our thinking, and one of the key things is the think principle. I always ask myself when I find myself in a dilemma, T, is it true what I'm facing right now? H, is it helpful? Am I helping anyone with what I'm about to say? I, is it inspiring? Am I inspiring the highest and best good of other people? N, is what I'm about to say necessary? Is it necessary to make someone else feel better or someone to feel less than their higher self? And K, is it kind? We always want to come from a place of kindness. Just as Jesus said to the good thief, he said, today you will find yourself in everlasting peace, because it is through your kindness and your consideration that God lifts us up. O is organize your thinking. Think about if and what it is you're about to say is for your highest and best good. R is for release. Release and let it go. Releasing yourself from the pain of your past and the fear of your future. Think about all the things, all the baggage that we carry with ourselves each and every day. Is it really necessary for us to continue to focus on those things that no longer serve you? Our past is there to teach us. It is not there to torment us. So we use those examples. Melanie will always be, she will always be a part of this story that I tell, this life that I lead, because she was so instrumental in me finding that path to the peace and life that I wanted to live, the place and space that I wanted to constantly come from. So when we think about all those things that happened, everything happens in your life right here, right now, to bring you to this space. You are who you are because those life experiences. One of my favorite movies is Evan Almighty, and Evan's wife is asking God. She says to God, "I wish I had the courage that Evan had." And God said to her, played by Morgan Freeman, God said to her, when you ask God for courage, God gives you everything to be courageous in. When you ask God for faith, God will give you things to challenge that. You are uplifting yourself by releasing the pain of that past and allowing yourself to move in the direction of the freedom of the understanding that that past has taught you. G is for gratitude. Every morning, the first thing I say to God is thank you. Thank you for getting me through the night. Thank you for allowing me to be an instrument of your peace. Thank you, God. Thank you again for taking care of this body temple so that I can be an example of your light and love. Thank you, God. And in my gratitude, I ask you, what would you have me do? What can I do to show up and show out as that divine representative of the Christ consciousness that lives and dwells within me? I am grateful. And in my gratitude, I ask God, in service to God, what would you have me do? And as God instructs me, I am given the time, the talent, and the treasure. We know those 4T principles. I'm given the time, the talent, and the treasure to fulfill those things that God would have me do. I is for intuition. Listen to, tap into, turn onto that oneness that is within you, that spirit of the indwelling Christ that will never, ever abandon or forsake you. It will never, ever direct you off your path of righteousness as you allow yourself to be and do the things that God would have you be and do. Guess what? Your life is lifted to the divine essence and that divine presence. You can feel God moving and directing through your path and through your presence. You can feel the warmth of God's light and love as it illuminates you through this path. I am so gifted and so blessed, and I am walking in my greatness because I listen and pay attention to the oneness of God that dwells within me. I pay attention to that intuition. V is value. Give value to the living things. Give value to the little things. Give value to those things that don't cost you anything. I go for a walk every day and I am inspired by the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees that don't compete with each other. I watch the sun as it rises. It doesn't conflict with the moon. It allows the moon its time, and the moon gives honor to the sun in its time. We live in a oneness state of being where we don't have to compete with anything or anyone else. We simply need to give value to the mission that God has given us, and we can continue to be present in that value and in that oneness. E is for energy. Energy is what God is all about. You got to be willing to get up and get moving and move in the oneness and the stillness in that presence. I always say I start my day in gratitude and I lift myself in praise. I turn on my music as I'm going for a walk. I get the energy moving in my body. The Bible says the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. And your body has to be in physical condition, in the optimal condition to be about your Father's business. So as I go through living a life of love, and trust me when I tell you, I speak from experience. I am 70 years old. Don't I look good? I am 70 years old and I feel like I'm 19 on the inside. And I continue to give honor and glory to the presence of God that dwells within me. I am grateful that God has chosen me. God has chosen me and he has given me an assignment to be an example of his light and love. So as I share with you, and I so hope that I will be able to share this message in your sanctuary someday really soon. But know that I love you and I appreciate you. And Reverend Jim, I am so filled with gratitude and praise that you have allowed me to share this message with your congregation and for you to see that your student has paid attention, that as I have been mentored by you, I endeavor to mentor others. So remember, face those fears, organize your thinking, release and let go. Be grateful for all those things that you have in your life right now. Listen to your intuition. Pay attention to your intention. Value the little things in life. Know that God is not finished with you and he's got an assignment directly for you. And energy, move about your Father's business. Do the things that God would have you do. Know that I love you. I appreciate you and I behold the Christ in you. Have an awesome day. And I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. My name is Donald Fouts, and I serve you as prayer chaplain. As prayer chaplain, I am concerned about your emotional state. I am concerned about your spiritual well-being. Today, before we begin the meditation, I thought I would describe meditation for just a moment. For each of us, meditation in the beginning is a varied experience. For those of us who have had a nurturing childhood, meditation is a wonderful contribution to an already established foundation of quality self-esteem. Others, however, have experiences in our past which might contain energies of fear and limitation. As we go within and discover whatever is in our psychological and emotional bodies, also called the energies of our experiences, we might become overwhelmed by what we discover. If this is your experience, please know that you are not alone. There is a voice of comfort available. Please call Silent Unity at 816-969-2000. My personal journey of meditation goes back 30 years. In this time, I've discovered that meditation, for me, is always helpful. In the beginning, I may have been uncomfortable, but I was trained to know that there is nothing in memory that could ever hurt me or keep me from moving on into a greater good. Meditation moves us out of limitation and into a better life experience. It does assist us to become observers, unattached, non-judgmental observers of ourselves and everything, really. Meditation and the observer effect is the path that leads to peace beyond understanding. Yes, even in the midst of chaos. And this is God's desire for each of us. God desires for each of us to live in gratitude, love, wisdom, and abundance. In unity, we intend to live as God would have us live, in gratitude, love, wisdom, and abundance. And so it is. So let's begin the meditation. Close your eyes and find your breath. And as you find the breath, just notice. Give yourself permission to become comfortable. Allow the breath to be a reminder that in this present moment, there's nowhere else to be. Notice the body. Extend the sensation of your noticing to your feet. Just notice the position of your feet. If you're comfortable, and if you're not, make yourself comfortable. Notice your hands and the position of your hands. Let yourself sit comfortably and quietly. Bring kind attention to your body and breath. Soften even further and let yourself be settled into the groundness of this present moment. Recognizing that each of us has a story. I'd like you to ask yourself kindly, what is there in my story? Gently bring into awareness a particular story from your past, a story that comes easily to mind, but it is a story that no longer serves you. This is a story whose time has come to be let go of. So just breathe that in. Sense the situation of the story and now acknowledge the feelings. The stronger the emotions, the more it is at surface, and the more you know it is time to let it go. Continue to breathe softly. Name the feeling. Maybe it is betrayal or sadness, anxiety or anger. Just allow the feeling to have space to be in this moment. And we're going to allow this sensation to float in without resistance. And we're going to hold this feeling and this sensation in a heart of compassion. And now ask yourself, is it indeed wise to release this story, this past experience, and let it go? If it is, feel the benefit and the ease of being that will come from letting this go. And now with each breath, say to yourself, let go. And the next breath, let go. Gently again, let go. And to yourself, let go. And as you soften the body and soften the heart, let any feelings that arise drain out of your body. Let gravity drain that emotion out of you down into the earth. Sense how these feelings can be released like water draining out of a tub. And feel the space that comes as you let go, how the heart softens and the body opens. And now direct the mind to envision the future where this situation has been released. Sense the freedom, sense the innocence, and sense the ease in your being that letting this go can bring. Say again to yourself, let go. Let go. Several more times to yourself. And as you sit quietly, notice if the feelings return. And each time they return, breathe softly as if to bow to them and say kindly, I've let you go. There's a victory here. Say that again. I've let you go. And see in your own mind's eye yourself as love, giving yourself more love, and even giving the story a loving, tender hug. And it's time to begin to let go of this exercise. Slowly come back into the body. Find your breath. Extend the breath longer. Give yourself comfort and ease. Notice your body where you're sitting. If you're ready, you can open your eyes and observe the room you're in. All of us can give thanks to author and teacher Jack Canfield. His voice echoes in the wisdom of this particular letting go meditation. And lastly, we can read together this final statement by Guru Ahan Shah. If you let go a little, you will have a little happiness. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of happiness. And if you let go completely, you will be free. Namaste, my friend. You are indeed loved, and so it is.
Thank you, Don. Great meditation. Thank you, Delores, for the special reading. And Charlette, oh gosh, I miss you. So good to hear you. Great insights. You have grown since 2000. Wonderful. So I just want you to be aware that at 11 o'clock every Sunday, Pacific Standard Time, we have our community fellowship time. So check the website and join us on Zoom. We would love to have you. And I would say just fellowship together. It's time. And if you're standing in the need of prayer, you can call Silent Unity. Someone is there 24 hours, 7 days a week, just for you. Personal prayer is answered. And thank you for all of your support, and in particular the financial support that allows us to be here and to expand and grow. You can go to our website and hit the donate button to be able to contribute, or you can do it via the phone by text. As we close out today, let's close out with the prayer for protection. Comes up on the screen. Let's open up our minds and open up our hearts. And let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all.
then there are no two ways about it. We remain connected and heal each other in forgiveness. That's the truth.